Hey, rich friends, it's your girl Chacha, reporting live from The Money Mantra, and we are back with another Forex education video. The purpose of this channel is to help as many people as possible become independent and profitable traders within the foreign exchange market. So, if that's something that you're interested in, you're going to want to make sure that you subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss when I drop a new video. Leave me a comment if you learned something, but more importantly, share this video with somebody who you thinks that it could help. Now, I do have a lot of videos and playlists on my channel from beginner to intermediate, but if you find that that's just not enough and you need more one-on-one hands help to understand, you can register for my personal mentorship classes, and all of that information is down below in the description box. So in today's video, I'm actually going to be showing you exactly my thought process when I'm deciding to get into a trade. And yeah, I'm pretty much going to walk you through my strategy, the things that I'm looking for, the time frames that I check, and the indicators that I use. So I don't want this video to be too long. So if you do want more in-depth explanations about the indicators I use, you can find shorter versions of those videos already on my page. So first and foremost, when I'm deciding if I want to take a trade or not, I'm going to check the news, especially if I plan to be in this trade for more than a couple of hours. So the website that I like to use to check the news is forexfactory.com, and it's pretty simple and straightforward to me. Now, I tend to trade the same types of currency pairs, so it'll be anything with a USD cross. So I'm just pretty much going to be looking for any news that has anything to do with USD. So I'm going to look at the time first. I'm going to look at the currency pair, and then I'm also going to pay attention to the color of the impact folder. Now, for me, how I interpret this is yellow folders, the market is moving pretty steady. Orange folders, the market is a little bit unsteady. And red folders, the market is extremely volatile. Now, I like to draw this out just to give you guys a visual of what I mean. So we're going to start off with black. So the market usually has a resistance area and a support area where it's buying and where it's selling. So the top is where it will resist and the bottom is where it will be supported. So what you'll notice on any chart is that the market tends to have a consistent movement where price can be a little bit predictable at times. So a black market to me will also mirror, well, the yellow market will also mirror the movement of a black market. You should be able to identify your entries pretty quickly with not many surprises. So now that we understand the basic movement of the market, a orange folder, let me overlap it. Oh, a orange folder will be a little bit more volatile. So we'll still have our resistance at the top, we'll still have our support at the bottom, but the market may break out of that more often than not. And when you get a red folder, this is considered high impact news where your entry points may not really be predictable at all. And your support and resistance levels will continuously be tested. So pretty much to sum all that up, if you see a yellow folder on a currency pair that you typically like to trade, that's a thumbs up. If you don't see any folder at all, that's even better. If you see a red folder and you're still a new trader, you just want to make sure that you avoid it so that you don't get spiked out of your trades, so that the trades don't hit stop loss and it doesn't really interfere with your confidence. Because you may be correct, the market just may be volatile. So that's the first thing we're going to do is check the news. And this is a part of our fundamental analysis. And fundamental analysis has to do with checking the news. So the next analysis that I like to do is called technical analysis. And with the technical analysis, you're using your indicators to confirm a trend so that you can decide whether you want to buy or sell. Now, I like to start on the weekly just to get an idea of what the market is doing. And I like to see if it's buying or selling overall. Now, the indicators that I use are two EMAs. The purple one is the 200 EMA and the blue one is the 50 EMA. I like to use the momentum indicator and I also like to use the stochastic. So how I use these indicators is like this. So the EMAs are an indicator that lets me know the trend of the market. So if the candles are above, if the candles are above both EMAs, plus the momentum line is facing up and above zero, and the stochastic is also facing up, and the blue line is over the orange line, to me, that is going to confirm a buying trend. So those are the technical indicators that I look for a buy. And for a sell, it's going to be the opposite. I would want to see that my candles are falling below one or both of the EMAs, letting me know that the trend is below average and it may continue to drop. I will also want to see that my momentum line is facing down and or below zero. And I would like my stochastic to also be facing down, confirming the downtrend, and preferably for my orange line to be below my blue line. So we can see every condition was met for a sell, and the market actually decided to drop down. So these are the confirmations that I look for on every time frame. And again, if you want more information about the EMA, you can watch my video, the EMA explained in 5 minutes. If you want more information about the stochastic, you can watch my stochastic explained in 5 minutes video as well. So first, I'm going to check the trend on the weekly, and I'm going to see if I'm getting more confirmations for a buy or for a sell. So in this case, I can see that the candle is above one EMA and it's below one EMA. So the market's kind of in the middle. But remember what we talked about, guys, how the market will have a similar pattern. So it looks like the market is currently set to sell. But we're going to keep looking, and we're going to go down to smaller time frames to figure out when is the best time we should get in. So on the weekly, it's a little bit confusing because we have it between both EMAs, and we have our MOM slightly facing up, but it's more so coasting on the zero line, confirming the consolidation and confusion up here. And while our stochastic is facing up, we just don't have enough information yet to confidently take this buy. So this is just on a weekly basis. All of these candles represent a week. So this is the current week, this is last week, this is 3 weeks ago, and this candle is a month ago. So let's go down to the next time frame, which is the daily, to see if we can get some more information about where this market may be going. So again, once we get to the daily, it's a little bit more clear, right? We can see that we have some resistance here, and I'll just put an R for resistance. However, the candles are still above both EMAs. So while we have a buying trend confirmed up here, the momentum line is facing down and the stochastic is also facing down. So we have 2 sell confirmations at the bottom and 2 buy confirmations at the top. Now, for me, that's still not enough because I want to make sure that I'm taking my trade with confidence and I'm increasing my chances of winning and not losing. So we're going to move down to the next time frame, which is the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour, we're getting candles above both of the EMAs. So the top of my chart is still signaling a buy trend, while we have my momentum line that is still coasting on that zero. So there is some confusion there. And we have our stochastic facing down with the orange over the blue. So what you guys are going to notice is that I'm pretty much looking for the same confirmations on different time frames to see where do I get the most confluence or consistency throughout my chart. So here we can see that the candle has crossed below the blue EMA, but it's still above the purple EMA. We can see that our momentum line is still coasting and going sideways with no clear direction. And our stochastic is facing down but it's still not quite clear. So if I don't get confirmations consistent across multiple time frames, you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to simply look at another market. I'm not going to force this trade. I'm going to move on to something else to see if I can get a clear reading. So let's check out GBP USD and let's see what's going on here. So we're going to start on the weekly. Let me take off some of these drawings, y'all. All right. So we're going to start off on the weekly. So here we can see that the candle is below one EMA, but it's not yet below both EMAs. We can see our MOM on the weekly is slightly facing down, but more so coasting sideways, confirming that confusion and consolidation. And we can see that the stochastic is facing down with the orange above the blue. So the top chart is giving me a neutral read, the momentum is giving me a neutral read, and my stochastic is giving me a read for a sell. So we're going to move down to the next time frame to see if we can get a little bit more consistency. So again, the candle is above both EMAs. So this is giving me buy confirmations. However, my MOM and my stochastics are both facing down, giving me a sell read on the bottom. Again, this is not clear. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want you guys to understand that if it's not right, you don't have to take the trade, because eventually things will line up and you can take your trades with confidence. So here we can see the candles are between two EMAs. So that's still a very neutral read. However, our momentum and our stochastic are confirming for the sell. Not quite what I want to see yet for a really good trade setup. And yeah, we just want to keep it pushing until we find something nice. And every day is not a good day to trade, but I'm walking you guys through my mental process when I am looking for trade ideas. So here on GBP USD, once we get down to the hour time frame, we can see that the candle is actually below both EMAs. So we actually get a strong selling read on the hour. We can also see that our momentum line is facing up. However, it is below zero, so that's going to be a neutral read. And our stochastic is facing down, which gives us the confirmation for the sell. Now, we don't have everything that we need, but we have confirmed that the trend is actually a downtrend. And it could cross above the zero line, but it hasn't quite happened yet. So for me, I would probably take this trade for a sell, right? Just because I do have the confirmation under the EMAs, and I would set my stop loss here above the previous high, and I would probably set my TP a little bit below the lowest low. So this wasn't a perfect read, but it was a pretty good example of the type of trade I would take and why. So we're going to do another example, and we're going to see what's happening with AUD USD. So for AUD USD, I can see first and foremost that my candle is below both the EMAs, giving me a strong sell confirmation on the weekly. I also have my MOM facing down, which is another sell confirmation, and my stochastic is also facing down. So far, this looks pretty good. It looks like this market will be selling for the week. So I just want to make sure I get the confirmations on the daily. So once I go to my daily chart, I still have the candle falling below both EMAs. My momentum line is clearly facing down, and my stochastic is facing down as well. So on the daily, I have more strong sell confirmations. Let's check the 4-hour. Again, on the 4-hour, we can see the candle is falling below both EMAs, giving me a strong sell for the top. My momentum line is facing down. My stochastic is facing down, and my orange is above the blue, giving me strong sell confirmations there. So at this point, once you get confluence on your chart or consistency across the time frames, you can feel more confident to take your trade. And we can look at it on the hour to see what's happening, to see if we want to actually get in that market execution or if we want to set a sell limit. So I'm going to go back to the 4-hour chart. So this, based on the confirmations that I collected, this is certainly a trade that I would take. And when I'm deciding to get in for that sell, if I getting at market execution, that means that my entry would be exactly where the market is, or I would set a sell limit directly above where the previous candle started. Now, if you need more information about sell limits, buy limits, sell stops, and buy stops, you can watch my 5 types of market orders video to have a better understanding of that. But a sell limit with me, I'm not going to get in here. I will wait for the market to come back to this point and then assume that it was going to come back down. So if I'm getting in for a sell, and I recognize a sell trend by my confirmations, but also by the market creating lower lows. And again, you can watch any of my videos that talk about higher highs and lower lows. I'm just going to set my TP here where this black line is, because that is where I see a previous level of support. So that's really my thought process. When I'm getting into a trade, I really just want to make sure that I'm getting confirmations on multiple time frames, and I want all of my indicators to be aligned. I always do a lot of back testing examples in my videos so that you guys can see how this actually plays out when you follow the rules. So I'm just going to give you guys 2 back testing examples because we were looking at real time, and we're going to do right here. So here we can see, let me fast forward a little bit. All right. So here on this candle, if the market was here at this time and we were looking for a trade idea, we would say, okay, my candle has officially crossed below both EMAs. We would say my momentum is facing down, which is another confirmation for a sell. And my stochastic is also facing down. And again, I would just set my TP where I see a previous level of support. And TP just means where the market is taking me out in profit. So once we click play on replay mode, we'll actually be able to see in real time. And let me just move this line up so it doesn't disappear. We'll be able to see from replay mode if that was a valid TP based off the confirmations that we've gathered. So once the candles get below this black line, that means that we would have made money in this trade, and it would have been about 30 pips. And look, it hit it so quickly. And we can also look for a buy example. So a buy example, we're going to go over here. Because we have all of our confirmations here, we have the candles above both of the EMAs, right? We have the MOM facing up, right? And about to cross above 0. And we also have the stochastic, the blue stochastic line facing up. And our TP would just be a little bit above the previous high, which is this black line here. So I'm going to go ahead and press play, and we're going to see how this trade played out and if it hit TP based on the confluence and confirmation of our indicators. And we can see that it did, right? And we can see that it did. So it's pretty simple, guys. Once you are comfortable with the indicators that you're using, once you understand how to interpret the news, you just have to use your sentimental analysis to help you determine, do you feel good about what you're seeing on the chart? Is it clear to you? Do you feel confident with this trade? And then once you answer those questions, you can, again, take your trade knowing that it has a higher likelihood to hit TP than not. So just to recap, I went over the 3 types of analysis that I do before I get into a trade. I checked my news on forexfactory.com. I checked my technicals across multiple time frames to make sure I had that confluence and confirmations for the trend. And then I also use my sentimental analysis to decide I am confident enough to get into this trade. I know where I should set my TP, and I know where I should set my stop loss. So this was just a glimpse into how I trade, and I really hope that it was helpful and that you guys learned something. If so, this would be the perfect time to leave me a comment and let me know what you learned, and just give this video a thumbs up. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, but you find yourself consistently coming back because you like the way I teach and what I'm learning, go ahead and subscribe now. And again, if these videos are helpful, but they're just not enough, you can find the information for my personal mentorship down below in the description box. So until next time, rich friends.